climate change, but no one knows how to deal with it. So we hope that it will go in that way. We deliver the free models, the possibility how to do that with examples. But when you want to run this, you cannot run this 2 weeks before you're delivering your result or your report. We are fast, but not so fast as you like. That means to include the CV in the early stage and so on. So, and we see this also from the facet of quality of life. What possibilities are existing in the city in combination with indoors and other things. But if you know 2003 there was a huge heat wave in Europe. This heat wave was more about 45,000 standing here, but the reality is it was more than 60,000 deaths, additional deaths. So that means something can be done with prevention, with the establishment of heat warning systems, also in urban areas and something like that. But finally we know that in order to do all these things, there is needed a cooperation between science and authorities. It has to be an interdisciplinary approach. That means we need the establishment of the link between science and application. I have a picture from the Black Forest. This is how the Black Forest looks like. This is an old Greek guy called Aristotle, who was the father of philosophy but also of meteorology, and he is telling in his native language. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm just going to leave a little bit in case they ask questions. All right, question, please. 有没有问题？你可以用中文发问，然后我们试着帮你翻译。来，有没有问题来？之前你既然听得懂，要不要发问一下？还是要林念良老师？好，那徐老师。
I just want to ask, do you have any like, let's say, floating? I mean, I think you have now this condition worldwide. Any subtropical or tropical cities that are interested in your models, and they have actually started for coordination with this is applied, with your model to apply their local conditions. Is this happened already or not?
The models?
The model can be used also in other climate regions, in other areas. But we have to be careful. The method is clear, but we have to be careful in the interpretation of the results.
Yes.
That means a strategy, adaptation strategy developed, or a way developed here, it not has to be included in another climate region. That means if you want to run that, and if you're going to analyze that, you have to run this analysis. You cannot take the results here about trees and transfer to Tanzania. You don't have to do it. But the methodology is worldwide. The reason because we deliver 5 thermal indices is because we know someone has some deficiencies in subtropical climates, someone about polar climates and so on. So you cannot run on the model and get the result and say, go to the municipality and say, here is the result. You have to know about efficiencies of the models, but you have also to know about the possibilities. We know that concerning PET, the effect of humidity is not so clear, it's not so good. But we know in another index, so finally we combine the results. So the reason we don't deliver a PET map, finally we deliver a classes map, which is quite easier. You get the information about classes, but you have included there all the best findings, or the best possibilities that we have. Of course, we cannot solve all the problems. We don't want to do that. We have young scientists. Concerning radiation, the camera that we have run for Freiburg with the simulation, so it seems so that Freiburg benefits from if you reduce radiation, but or put many trees. But if you go to Stockholm or Helsinki, you don't need need the trees there because there's too much shade. They like to have more sun.
Yeah, they need more sun.
So that means here you can deal more with orientation. It's not needed all to have trees. But on the other point, in Helsinki, they need trees for some buffering, but also filtering pollutions. Because you know what they do during the winter? They take the snow because the snow is absolutely polluted.
Polluted for
Yeah,
what?
from air pollutants. Snow,
All air pollutants.
Air pollutants. That means you have to know, based on the conditions there in the pollution, what you will apply and how you will. Here in Taipei or in Taiwan, the question is quite clear. Shade reduces radiation. Trees reduces radiation. In fact, we have run several analyses. But you have to combine. If you put the trees in an area which is much polluted, it's not the right wind direction, and you put too much trees, or the trees are not so high, they have to be higher, where you can have ventilation under the ground and so on. You have to think about many things. And be careful. Don't take trees and buy the trees in Japan or somewhere else. Use the local. Use the local.
I'm just going to explain a little bit in Chinese, so they will
Okay.
get me the idea.
That means I have a break for drink.
Yeah, have a drink, please. 其实刚刚一系列其实我想我们德国教授最主要就是在谈他们自己在以他的那个弗莱堡的那个大学的那个区块来做的实验，从2003年，他们刚在做那个检测，就是他们的那个帮政府做 monitor， 那用这样的一个方式来去监控在环境，就是城市的规划当中，怎么样去避免建筑物在不应该影响环境的情况，它过高啦或量过大等等等，就是他刚他们那个地方的那个城市。那所以刚刚何志谦的问题是说，这样子的 model， 当然在他们的城市做了这样的模拟，那这样的 model 是不是也用在其他地方？例如像我们这比较亚热带气候啦，好，或者是东南亚更热的气候啦、更潮湿的气候等等之类的。其实台湾蛮严苛，台湾既然热而且又潮湿，其实台湾蛮适合做这种 model。那适不适合做这样的？那他也解释，比如说那个何志谦刚从芬兰回来，芬兰我们就听你讲，就是那个日照啊，什么几乎有的时候是整个是黑的哈，所以他们日照相对就几乎是没有什么白天啊，就是某几个月份几乎是全黑，所以他们来讲，他们的日照相对严苛，就是对他们来说日照需求量是更高。因此这样的模型它其实不是标准答案，其实我们都知道，如果你开始在使用参数，那个输入的参数的因子会跟你的地方性会有不同的答案，所以肯定台湾会不同的答案，跟芬兰或者是跟他在德国这样的一个家乡的一个答案，肯定是会不太一样的。那所以这个我想基本上这个问题是还蛮清楚哈，容易理解的。我比较好奇是你们都不想要知道这个 model 是免费的耶。你们现在用的学校的那个软体是不要钱，是因为学校花了500多万买了什么 Ecotech 啦，什么这些软体。你们不会很好奇想要知道这个免费的软体到底？我刚刚其实有点想要问他那些参数因子，然后怎么去做决策。刚刚有2个模型 model 是免费的，你直接可以从网络上下载。你们没有人很好奇要问这个问题吗？你们还有1个小时，快要1个小时时间，45分钟，不想再挖宝吗？你如果自己去上这个软体去模拟，你可能都不知道，你不会很好奇你讲它的 factor 是什么吗？就是刚刚有2个软体啊，一个是 Raymond， 一个是那个有2个软体，yeah， Evident， yeah， right， two vectors。I'm quite curious actually. Because we go through quite quick here, but I really need to get more idea, especially the students, about the factors actually, because we know the local factors is quite different worldwide. So yeah, this kind of data. Yeah, could you elaborate?
In order to calculate or run radiation, you need geographical factors. Latitude, not longitude, altitude, the time zone, and you need, of course, the day of the year, period of the year, and the time of day. Then you can calculate radiation, the big low radiation, something like that. But this is valid only for cloud, no cloud. If you have clouds, you have to consider the clouds to finally get this information.
So how can you judge the cloud without cloud?
Existing from the weather stations.
Okay, from the weather station.
So if if you want to deal with that, you need from the national weather service the data, and you can get in Taiwan the data with no money. Yeah. Okay. And then you have air temperature that you have measured from the weather station. You have the relative humidity. You have the wind speed. In the wind speed you have to modify, or you take it as it is, or you make some simulations with the wind. And then you finally calculate surface temperature, global radiation. Of course, you can import data files here. Yeah. And the Raman calculates the mean radiant temperature, and finally PMV, DSCD, parameter CI, and the other indices. But you can run this for a flat area like the airport, and if you want to another one, and if you want to run more detailed analysis in urban areas,
that one I also have.
yeah, okay. Here is it. You have all this information you can do different, and you can, in order to have the correct radiation, you need buildings, you need trees or something like that. In this version, there's a pop-up menu where you can include the building height, dimension of buildings, two kinds of trees, which is most relevant. In the other model, Sky Helios, you can import shape files, you can import SketchUp, and from there, I never thought that there's a society who is crazy about SketchUp. I find it in Taiwan. Yeah?
No, yeah, everyone uses SketchUp.
Everyone
SketchUp.
Yes, and then you produce the fisheye picture, and you import it in Raman, and you can run against the model, or you can run with Sky Helios, sun orbit, sunshine duration, or something like that. So the combination made it. But you need some specific data. For AnviNet, you need only one value, it's the potential, and you can run, but you cannot run it for all the year. You can run one hotspot or something like that.
Can we go to the other one? It's quite complicated about the systematic framework of how you get
the procedure.
Yeah, the procedure. Yeah. Procedure, exactly. I mean, this is quite complicated already. Where did you get all the information from here? It was existing already. Okay, so
we took the long-term data, the traffic model was existing, digital building model was existing, digital train model, biomap map, usually in a biotop for birds, something like that. But very often they have information which is relevant, like the percentages of vegetation or something like that.
okay, so these are like basic data, but
Yes.
you did not include these data into your model. No, that's basic.
You have to do many things manually.
Yeah.
But first you deliver this information, produce this information, and finally for our model for PET, we have to quantify all the spaces about reflection, emissivity, that means green area or something like that, which we have done. But this can be run very quickly. There is no unique method in order how to do that. This depends mostly on the data that we have, on the data that is existing from the municipality or from the offices and so on. And this is mostly also dependent on the factors that is more important. As I mentioned, air pollution was not a problem. But if you go to another city with industry or something like that, it's more complicated. But this was 10 years ago. At the moment we are trying a further development of the model, of this way, method. It's not a model. But finally, in Raman, as I mentioned, this picture is not produced by Raman. Raman produces the data. Of course, the picture and the analysis you have to do with any statistical software or some other things. We don't develop things which other software, other groups or companies have developed.
Yeah, but you sort of like procedure to collaborate all the information together. 这很困难啊，刚那个 procedure 很复杂，可是其他部分都是已经既有 有寄存的一些资料，尤其越完整的data资料，所以像现在政府已经花很多的钱在做很多资料建设。
But I think
Yeah.
the most relevant is first you have to do the basic analysis to see which factors are changing or are modified most, and before you deliver information, you have to run a background. Otherwise, it's only a hotspot. The question about how often something is taking place at the moment and can take place in the future is missing. There's two words in the last 10 years that I learned. The one is mitigation and the other one is adaptation. And suddenly I realized there are two other words, two other terms which are more not problematic but more important. This is, we have to know. Usually in the past, that kind of analysis in general, it was more qualitative way. It will be warmer, that means something that we have. But I think more important is the not the qualitative way, but the quantitative, how often will be done. You hear in the newspaper or in the mass media, temperature will increase about 3 centigrade. Urban planning has to adapt. Oops. What does it mean? What means 3 centigrade? Difference. 3 centigrade difference we have from indoor not to outdoor, from one office to another office. What this means, you have to know how often you have something. And I think this is something that we really have to put in our brains, in our minds, and say, okay, we are not in the stage. We have more possibilities. We have GIS and many other things to collect it, to analyze the data, to work with the data. That means in the way of that we think and try to deliver information, we have to change it. Not much, it's only a little. Not qualitative only, but also quantitative also. Questions? Because I have also some questions to you.
I have a question here.
So I was wondering if Professor Wilkins is also about to trace in sites which affects the microclimates. But I also believe that the surface level of just like radiation and reflection lines also.
Exactly. The analysis based on the regional models that we, for regional climate models we have performed was only to show that with a simple idea what can be done. It's not absolute. It's only a start. I know other groups who run more models and so on, but this is a beginning. So you have to run a street now, which is with no trees, the data of the day, and you run a street with the data of the future, and then you can put trees, different configuration, in order to see how much trees can has and to do in order to reduce radiation, to keep or remain in the same situation which I am now. That's good.
I mean, your results are fairly convincing. It's because so if you want us to put those results in legislations documents, I mean, if someone is planning for a site, so we must do such an analysis.
I'm careful. I am a little careful because, as I mentioned in his question, from a region to a region is different, and you have to keep in mind that putting a document in internet, put it free. All of my models are free, and all the other things I'm doing free. But for the transfer of information, we have to be very careful. Some people can understand, but some people, like politics, will check what is the map, the map. We check only the map and see. Oh, here's red, and here's biggest red. That means this is not important. So you have really to be careful. Education and communication. I think first communication and then education, especially politics. Yes. So you have to be. It's important. We have the challenge now to deliver more information, more detailed information, but for the transfer, be gentle. Questions?
老师，不好意思，我用中文的，麻烦一下，就是因为我之前做那个土地利用形态组成对都市微气候的影响，然后对这方面的研究是有一些问题，因 因为我们知道白天跟夜晚的那个气候基本上是差异很大的。然后不知道Patricia 这个教授这个部分有没有说将都市气候图这个部分针对白天跟夜晚，然后去做一个个别去建构这样子。
特别针对都市吗？
对，都市，然后的白天跟夜晚，然后个别去做。
只有针对只有都市里面的早跟晚嘛，然后你刚好提到一个地形。
没有，就是白天跟夜晚。对。
气候的差异。
对。然后另外一部分就是说，在另外一个问题就是说，有没有教授这部分有没有对那个水的部分去做研究？对。
Okay, all right. His question is because he is a PhD student. He study the climate, the temperature it changed in the urban high density areas. The day and night is quite different, in different seasons and different day and time. Yep. And the question is whether you have this model, whether they can apply, or do you have any research about this model? The second question is about waters, right? 关于水文方面嘛 ，What about the water? Does it apply to the
水对那个气候的影响的。
Good question. Detailed. As you have find, as you research by your own, the difference between the urban area and the green area is not so much the temperature. The difference during the day is much lower, but during the night is much bigger. Yes. In order to quantify that, temperature is not enough. You have to run humidity, you have to run wind speed and other factors. That means, but I have to tell you also, about this issue is absolutely much research. If you visit urbanclimate.net, you can find many references about that. Or if you visit urban-climate.org, we had 2 months ago the 8th conference and international conference on urban climatology. There are many works about parks and trees and so many things. You have really to search in journals like International Journal of Biometeorology, Building and Environment, Theoretical and Applied Climatology. There's a lot of work. I have also done a lot of work about that. Concerning the first answer, you understand?
你听得懂吗？就是在都市，就是谈到都市，刚才谈urban climate是讲都市这个气候，可他说你的温度其实是其他的意思，还有其他非常多，包括湿度啦、风速啦，然后刚才讲。最近的研讨都还讨论到树啊什么这些，其实它的影响因子非常大。如果不是这次回答你问题，这句回答待会再提嘛。OK， 大概目前是这样。
Okay. For the second question, the water, it depends on the size that you have, and it depends on
size of the building or size of the
size. No. So if you have a water plant or something like that, it depends on the size, how deep it is. It depends on the region, if it's warm, evaporation takes place or not. Mostly in the climate, something like 200 meter lake or pond or something like that, the influence is not much. But you have to be only careful during very hot conditions if you have the increase of vapor pressure which affects. But the quantification concerning this effect of water is not so much, it's difficult to study and not so much study. But there are also some works about the effect of water from Japan, from Fukuoka, from also some other cities. You can find this also in the urban climate.
他觉得第一个那个水的那个大小跟深度会影响你的微气候的改变，然后他认为改变不大。我觉得我要问他问题好了，因为跟我们的 our philosophy here in Taiwan is we always think the water like ecological count, it does affect the microclimate. So
it affects the microclimate, reduces a little temperature, but most of the water reduces also during the day is cooler, but during the night is warmer because of the capacity of the water. This is the one point. The other point is water is effective, but I listened I attended yesterday a presentation about this river in Taipei, which has been constructed, artificial, and then damaged. I cannot understand why they copied the method from Seoul to Taipei.
清溪川啊，就谈到清溪川，呀。
I was wondering about that because Seoul has not so much storms. In Taipei you have, in Taiwan you have more typhoons, more water. And why they want water there?
Why they want water in Taipei?
No, why a lane or something like that with different microclimates, with history, with culture, with many possibilities for recreation or something like that. One typhoon destroys all, but not because of the water is coming down, but of the water flowing.
Yeah, because it's coming all
Yes,
of a sudden
exactly.
very strong. Yeah.
Remove something, put something underground for flow or runoff or something like that, but I was wondering about that. So it makes no sense to copy a methodology or a way from somewhere to another region. Sorry, it's stupid.
It's a cultural problem.
Really? Cut?
Culture.
Yes, but I'm
他
wondering,
说为什么台北要学七夕唱？
I'm wondering,
台风一来
yes,
就
I'm wondering in a culture which lives with higher extremes of climate and was mostly for centuries adopted, imports culture. I'm wondering about
my cultural problem is not the big culture, it's the official culture. For example, the architecture of this in Taiwan is copied from JSI, the Japanese called, and the Japanese architect.
Okay.
Architecture called copied from American architect. So copy. But they never think that it's suitable for us. No.
Okay, I don't understand that problem.
Because we have another estimate for research.
But it's copy, you can copy, transfer, but please adapt. Adapt to the regional situation, to the local situation.
Basically, I don't agree with this concept of
But you know, a revolution starts always
The
from the
revolution, we
basement.
talk about that.
Yes,
Yeah.
the revolution starts always. But I would like to have some more questions.
For
Other
students,
questions,
okay,
students,
yeah, okay.
questions.
还有没有问题？没有问题，老师要问你们问题。You
Because
go
I
ahead,
have-
ask them. I know. Yeah. Go ahead, ask them because they are wondering what is your question. Sorry.
I would like to make something like voting or something.
Voting, okay. 投票来 okay. Let's do that. Okay.
Do you think who is architect?
Who is architect? 不是请举手。
No architects?
No, one or two.
They are shy.
They are
Architects
very shy.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
One or two. Okay.
No, it's for me only to know what kind of
算不
questions.
算？来，算
Who
不
is
算
planner? Who is planner?
？Planner，规划师，they
There are
are
only students there.
students.
Yes.
Today's architect and planner missing because they have meeting in their office. So
Okay.
most of them are students today.
Yes, but
Yeah.
students in architecture and
Architecture,
who is student in architecture?
we are all.
All
Those
is
are-
architecture?
Yeah, all.
Oh, I like that.
Okay.
It makes my life easier. So we will vote yes or no. No? Do you think that climate will be, after you study, important for you when you work in an office or at the university or something like that? Don't say yes.
你觉得气候对你的建筑规划影响大不大？投 yes 的请举手。Oh, do we have to count? Why don't you count the no?
We say no.
觉得不重要请举手。No one will vote no in this class.
Which parameter? I will tell the parameters and we will vote.
Oh,
You think is more important for you?
哪个因子最重要？你会 vote？来讲。
Is rain important for you?
下雨吗？
Rain is typhoon or something like that. Oh, we say yes?
你觉得水会不会影响这个
我
影响建筑的因子大不大？第一个大不大？你觉得雨影响因子大不大 ？Rain。No, yes.
Oh,
Of course. 有没有人要投 yes？ 雨这件事情影响建筑规划很大的。
no.
Few. Okay, maybe 10, 12, 15.
You say yes?
Yes.
Yes?
About 15. Is that
And
what
that means 30 say no.
Yeah.
There's no,
Roughly.
yes, there's only yes and no. So you cannot.
Okay.
Okay.
没有中间站吗？
Which things the temperature?
温度呢？温度影响大不大 ？Yes, please.
Okay, and no?
No 的请举手。你不可以选中间哦，你一定要投 yes or no 哦。You cannot in the middle, okay?
And there's no
You
middle.
gotta make decision, okay? 你要做决定。
What about radiation?
Radiation 辐 射呢，影响大不大 ？Yes. Few. Maybe 10. No.
No?
有人觉得辐射
Hey, you have to play the game.
不是热嘛？觉得不重要的请举手。哎，你们一定要选，不是 yes 就是 no，OK？、来举
You
手。
would say radiation, sun radiation is important.
Yeah， 觉得那个太阳辐射觉得很重要，很重要，会影响。所谓很重要，就会影响因子。
What about wind?
wind， 风呢？风觉得怎么样呢？
No?
我们 no 的请举手。One。
You are not honest.
You are not honest， 你们都不诚实啊！跟你们讲，直接选边站，不是 yes or no， 就是直觉反应，你不用担心你会被枪毙 ，OK？
For the most important parameters, you didn't have been honest and you didn't realize the importance. Because temperature is a result of radiation. So you need radiation, you need the wind. And also, as I mentioned, the factors that you, as planner and architect, can modify and change is not wind and humidity, but it's radiation and wind. And what about precipitation with rain? Say no. Are you sure about that? It's not so important. But one typhoon can manage all the building, can destroy all the building that you made. No honor anymore if the building will be destroyed. Yeah? Okay, I have a final question.
OK， 最后一个问题喽。
I'm thinking.
Let me translate a little bit.
Okay.
I'm afraid I'm not understand. This is so important. 其实他刚刚讲到气候这件事情，你今天气候会多少度，其实会受到你的辐射热以及风速的影响。所以气候这件事情，虽然我们表面上看到几度，这件事情的决定，事实上是会跟你当下的温度还有你的辐射是有关系的。Okay. All right. Last question. Two questions. Okay, fine.
Again, yes and no.
Okay, let me make sure. 你要选 yes 就是 yes, no 就是 no. There's no option in the middle, okay? You gotta vote.
If you don't vote, no food during weekend. Okay. Do you think that you, as architect or planner, can do something against climate change in your work? I thought it's my fault,
Is it mine? Sorry.
but I have no fault.
I'm too concentrated, forgot to turn off my phone. Okay, right.
Okay. Which of you thinks that he can do with his work in the future or now as a student, architecture, do something against global warming or climate change?
你觉得你做建筑可以不用考虑